It finally leaked as we have multiple huge updates as it pertains to the future of the Lakers and specifically LeBron James. The truth has leaked. The Shams has dropped a bombshell report as it pertains to his future. We're going to break that down as well as discuss a brand new update that dropped just minutes ago, revealing some wild details once again as it pertains to the Lakers' future. So stay tuned for all that in this episode. But before we get into it, if you're a part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, this is the place to be for daily Lakers content. Obviously, the Lakers season is over. It was a disappointing one, but nonetheless, the Lakers are preparing themselves for an important offseason, the most crucial offseason in recent memory for this team as they acquire Luka Doncic, and now they are going to have to get moving in the off season. And let's dive right into a bunch of new reports that have dropped today. And I want to start with this one by McMenamin, and then we're going to, of course, dive into some other reports from Shams and things like that. So you can see here, I talked to Bronny about his favorite moments from the year, and he mentioned the surreal idea of going to work with his dad. And he said, I look forward to that for years to come. So this kind of dropped yesterday and it started to gain some traction. It seems like, according to all, reports and everything like that, that at least at this juncture, the LeBron James is going to opt in to his player option. And that seems to be, the case. Again, I look forward to that for years to come. That's kind of, Bronny giving a little bit of insight about, and again, Bronny's under contract with the Lakers. So Bronny giving a little bit of insight. And then you go to that paired with the Shams report here. Shams Charania says LeBron James is expected to play at least another NBA season. Bryce James is going to potentially be draft eligible in 2026. LeBron's got a $54 million player option. He probably opts into that. And at this point, all signs are pointing to, and there were some question marks about LeBron James. Is he going to play? Is he going to retire? Is he going to play for the Lakers? Is it going to be a different team? Of course, because after, the season, he was asked about it, and he said he's going to, of course, talk with his family, his support system, all these different things. It is the first, and he just finished his first season with Bronny James, and there's a good chance that Bronny James maybe gets some more playing time next year for the Lakers, depending on how their team shapes up, depending on how the team, looks and what players they bring in, of course. But for Shams to come out and say this is obviously extremely notable. He's very, tuned in with all these different things. And for anyone doubting whether or not LeBron was going to opt into his player option, it seems like that is going to be the case. Now, the big question mark is, not the big question mark, $54 million is a lot of money for LeBron, especially, and again, it's LeBron James. We all know that. But given the fact that the team has a ton of holes to fill in the center position, the 3D. Like $54 million, it's there were some rumblings about hoping that he was going to take a step and take a paycheck and really or pay cut, sorry, and help this team build. It doesn't seem to be the case, and I'll dive into that in a minute with a new report. But at the end of the day, it is very, very likely that LeBron James is going to be playing with the Los Angeles Lakers next season. However, you can see here, if he opts in, that significantly alters the roster building equation for the Lakers. They badly need him to opt out and take a pay cut as he was willing to do last year. If LeBron James making $54 million, that cuts their championship odds drastically. They need the full MLE. And of course, at $54 million, they will not get the full MLE, which will, inhibit their ability to make, further and subsequent moves. And this is where it becomes interesting. And let me know down below. Do you think LeBron James not taking a pay cut and, returning to the Lakers is a bad thing for the team or a good thing for the team? And it sounds crazy to even talk about that. And I do ultimately think it's going to be a net positive. LeBron is still one of the best players in the NBA, the best player of all time, all these different things. But the problem is the Lakers team has so many, and you're going to have to make some trades and things like that, have some hard conversations. But this Lakers team has so many holes right now, specifically regarding the big man, center position. And of course, not just the center position, but also, which isn't me talking about a lot, 3 and D wing. They, of course, got Dorian Finney-Smith, more of a 4, but also you traded Max Christie, who was arguably your best 3 and D player, right? That's what was really needed on the defensive side, of the ball. And the problem now remains, yes, he's going to opt in. However, this report just dropped minutes ago from Jovan Buha of The Athletic. LeBron James is not expected to take a pay cut if he stays with the Lakers. If James returns to the Lakers, though league sources say he's not expected to consider the kind of pay cut that was in play around this time a year ago. Last summer, James took a discount of approximately $2.7 million to help the Lakers stay under the second apron and maintain roster flexibility. So this is a pretty big deal. And we know last season, and covering the channel a little bit and just in general, LeBron took a pay cut of $2.7 million, which helped open up a little bit of flexibility. Now, you pair that with the fact that, hey, the MLE for, the Lakers, they're going to need the full MLE. Like, you need as much, given the current construction of this team and the roster construction, you need absolutely as much leverage as you can, as much roster space as you can to get this team over the top to a championship level. Can they still compete with LeBron and Luka, depending on who else they get? Of course, right? The ceiling's always high with those two guys. But if you're going to opt into your, $54 million player option, you're not going to opt out and take a pay cut, which I don't blame LeBron. Get every, bit of money you can get. But regardless of that, it's going to make things a lot more difficult. And then to have Jovan Buha come out and drop this report, it definitely changes the outlook of the team a little bit, because we know Rob Pelinka yesterday said a bunch of things. They're looking for a center. They're prioritizing all that. Their job gets significantly harder in general this offseason by not having a lot of trade assets. Of course, they made the trade for Mark Williams, got rescinded. You still have Dalton Knecht as a trade piece. Austin Reaves, which still could technically be a trade piece, seems to be locked in as the Lakers, a part of the core three between him, LeBron, and Luka. The question now becomes very difficult. We know that he's going to play next year. We know that he's going to be a Laker in all likelihood. He's not going to take a pay cut. And are you guys upset with that? Do you understand it? Where do you currently stand regarding this? Because again, it is a very not an ideal spot for this. Not that it's not an ideal spot, because you'd rather him, play than retire, of course, and things like that. But the team in general is in a very rough spot financially as it pertains to being able to add guys. Of course, business-wise, they're perfectly fine, the biggest team in the NBA. But it's going to be extremely interesting. And the good news is, as one of the biggest teams in the NBA, like, players flock to the Lakers, and hopefully, players will want to play alongside LeBron and Luka, maybe on a pay cut. There's a lot of guys out there that they could get, and it's going to be a crazy offseason of that. But ladies and gentlemen, let's dive into some other things now. And I want to dive into a couple different things that came up. So, Rui Hachimura. Now, obviously, he's probably, he could be a trade chip, but he's probably going to stay with the team. And Coach Redick had some comments on him yesterday. I just want to kind of dive into this a little bit to hop off the LeBron James rumor stuff here. I thought Rui had an outstanding season. It was a vital cog on both ends, particularly in the last two games. I thought he played well in the playoffs. I'm excited to see his growth. So this kind of dives into some information surrounding his future as well. It seems that Rui Hachimura is going to be staying with the Lakers, and trades can happen. You can obviously they can change their mind. Rui Hachimura is crucial to this team. He loves being in LA. He's played absolutely fantastically, and he fits great alongside Luka Doncic. And seeing him develop into what he was last year, even compared to the year before, and if you just look at the box score and the stats, the change wasn't really crazy, but watching him, completely different player. He's hitting all of his threes. He's an elite shooter. And for JJ Redick to put full confidence in him, he's going to be the starting 3 or 4 for the team next year. And that's obviously, great to see there. And we know, Rob Pelinka, he has expectations this year. Every year we embark in training camp and a journey of putting a banner up. JJ Redick brought a new work ethic. And then, of course, bringing in Luka. Can't wait to get to work starting today. That's going to start with the LeBron opting in. It's going to start with making moves for Nick Claxton. Of course, you have to wait to the NBA season, or whether that's Nick Claxton, whether that's, another guy, have to wait, Clint Capella, have to wait for the NBA season to finish before that. But one final tidbit. Let's save it till the end regarding the LeBron stuff. Rob Pelinka said, I think LeBron is going to have high expectations for the roster, and we're going to do whatever we can to meet them. They're going all in. And also, this kind of hints at the fact that he's very confident LeBron's going to be returning. So, Pelinka's all in, LeBron is all in, and hopefully the Lakers are all in, and they can go ahead and build a much better team than what they had this year against the Timberwolves. Thank you guys for watching. Cheers.